Natalia Grosvenor, Duchess of Westminster, stands among the most influential and affluent women in the United Kingdom. She is the youngest child of Georgina Werner and Harold Phillips, who was once the lover of Lady Mountbatten. Among her sisters was the late Duchess of Abercorn. With roots tracing back to the Romanovs and the great Russian poet Pushkin, and with familial ties to Lord Mountbatten and the Duke of Edinburgh, her family was raised at Thorpe Lubenham Hall and Checkenden Court in Oxfordshire, with frequent visits to Luton Hoo, the estate of her maternal grandparents, Sir Harold and Lady Zia Werner. She was educated at Evandene Court in Malvern. In 1978, Natalia Phillips married the Earl Grosvenor, the eldest son and heir of the Duke of Westminster. The couple inherited the ducal title in 1979 and had 3 children, including the current Duke, before his sudden death in 2016. The Grosvenor family fortune dates back to 1677 and includes vast real estate holdings across central London, though the family now has business interests in 62 international cities. As Duchess, she oversaw the renovation of the family's residence at Eaton Hall and took a personal interest in redesigning its formal gardens and park, as well as in the family's art collection. The Duchess serves as a director of Alex Moulton Bicycles and is a patron of several charities based in the Northwest, near the family's home in Cheshire. She has maintained close ties with the royal family and is the godmother to the Duke of Cambridge, while her son is the godfather to Prince George. Despite her reserved nature and public appearances, Natalia Grosvenor is renowned for her exquisite taste, which extends beyond her wardrobe to her choice of jewelry. As the Duchess of Westminster, she has access to one of the most significant collections of jewelry in the world. The Grosvenor collection boasts some of the rarest diamonds, emeralds, and sapphires, many of which have been passed down through generations. One of the most famous pieces in this collection is the Bagration tiara. This striking tiara and parure, made of spinel, features pear-shaped, cushion-cut, and round spinels set in a stylized scroll motif of diamonds. The ensemble, which includes the tiara, necklace, earrings, and a comb, dates back to the early 19th century and is believed to have been crafted by the renowned Fossin of Chaumet, though the necklace and earrings were likely added later, around 1840. The spinel tiara and parure once belonged to the notorious Princess Catherine Bagration, niece of Prince Potemkin, who married into the ancient Georgian-Russian dynasty. Known for her beauty, romantic escapades, and unconventional behavior during her travels across Europe, Princess Catherine inherited the jewels of Prince Potemkin. However, the fate of this parure remained unknown until it reappeared at a Christie's auction in Geneva in November 1973, where it was acquired by S.J. Phillips. In 1977, the future 6th Duke of Westminster purchased it for his fiancée, Natalia Phillips, who herself had Russian ancestry as a great-granddaughter of Grand Duke Michael of Russia and a direct descendant of Alexander Pushkin. Natalia Phillips wore the Bagration spinel tiara for the first and only time at her wedding to the then Earl Grosvenor, soon to become the Duke of Westminster, at St. Mary's Church in Luton in October 1978. Over a decade later, the Duchess of Westminster donned the Bagration spinel parure for a gala dinner celebrating the silver wedding anniversary of King Constantine and Queen Anne-Marie in Copenhagen in 1989. The Bagration spinel parure was also worn by a model, likely Laura Montague, now the Countess of Burlington, during a photo shoot in the 1990s, where she modeled key pieces from the Westminster collection. Over the years, the spinel tiara and parure have been photographed for books and exhibited at various events, often paired with other jewels of Russian heritage. Recently, the Bagration spinel tiara was showcased at one of these exhibitions, and I would love to see it again. Another remarkable piece is the Rosebery tiara. The Duchess also wore the Rosebery tiara, which came into the Westminster family from the collection of Hannah, Countess of Rosebery, a Rothschild heiress. Natalia, Duchess of Westminster, donned this tiara at a banquet in the 1980s. It was also worn by a model during a photo shoot featuring key pieces from the Westminster collection. The Rosebery tiara was sold in 2011 for £1,161,250 to an anonymous buyer. But let's move on to the next exquisite piece, the Westminster Myrtle Wreath Tiara. This is one of the most frequently worn tiaras in the Westminster collection, the Fabergé Myrtle Wreath Tiara. Crafted in 1906 by the renowned Russian jeweler, it has been worn by many family members and has been displayed at various exhibitions. The tiara, set with sparkling diamonds, is composed of 2 branches of myrtle leaves and berries. with stems made of engraved red gold and leaves set in tarnished silver. It was created by Fabergé master Albert Holmstrom and purchased in 1906 for the wedding of Lord Hugh Grosvenor, son of the first Duke of Westminster, and Lady Mabel Crichton, which took place in 1906. Both of their sons became Dukes of Westminster due to the lack of male heirs in the family. The myrtle wreath tiara was depicted on Sally, Duchess of Westminster, wife of the fourth Duke and daughter-in-law of Lord Hugh and Lady Mabel. The tiara was later worn by her successor, Viola, Duchess of Westminster, at the state opening of Parliament in 1969. In 2004, Lady Tamara Grosvenor, daughter of the sixth Duke, wore the Fabergé myrtle wreath tiara at her wedding to Edward Bernard Charles Van Cutsem in Chester Cathedral. The tiara was last seen in 2008 when Lady Rosina Innes Kerr married Viscount Grimston at Flores Castle, her father's ancestral home, the Duke of Roxburgh. She borrowed the tiara from her maternal uncle, the sixth Duke. Most recently, this splendid tiara was worn by Olivia Henson at her wedding to Hugh Grosvenor, the seventh Duke of Westminster in Chester Cathedral. Another breathtaking piece is the Duchess of Westminster's diamond necklace. This stunning three-strand diamond Riviere necklace can also be worn as two strands, adorned with two diamond rosettes on the sides and paired with a set of diamond earrings. The necklace may be a family heirloom of the Dukes of Westminster, but it could also have been acquired by the sixth Duke for his Duchess, who was seen wearing it in the 1980s. During that decade, the Duchess of Westminster wore just two strands of the diamond necklace along with the roseberry tiara at a banquet in London. She has also been seen wearing this necklace more recently. I can't overlook the Westminster halo tiara, even though it wasn't a personal jewel of our heroine. It belonged to her husband's family. Shortly after the second Duke of Westminster married his third wife, Loelia Ponsonby, in 1930, he commissioned a magnificent new tiara from La Cloche Frères. This tiara, designed as a halo, was worn atop the head and flared outward, resembling a traditional Chinese headdress. It could also be worn with a diamond Riviere necklace attached to the outer edge, adding to its grandeur. Originally, the tiara featured the Hastings diamond and two Arcot diamonds, which were gifts to Queen Charlotte from the Nawab of Arcot and after her death were sold to the first Marquess of Westminster. When the halo tiara was completed, the Duchess of Westminster wore it for her court presentation, despite the Duke's disapproval. Loelia, Duchess of Westminster, is perhaps best known for wearing the halo tiara in a series of portraits by Cecil Beaton, one of which was featured in her autobiography, ** Grace and Favor, The Memoirs of Loelia, Duchess of Westminster *, published in 1961. After the Duke and Duchess divorced in 1947, the Duke remarried, and the new Duchess wore the Westminster halo tiara at the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II at Westminster Abbey in 1953, just weeks before the Duke's passing. The Westminster halo tiara was inherited by William Grosvenor, the third Duke of Westminster and cousin of the second Duke, but due to inheritance tax, it was sold at Sotheby's auction in June 1959 for £110,000. The tiara was purchased by Harry Winston, who removed the Hastings and Arcot diamonds to sell them separately, replacing them with turquoise and later with smaller diamonds, making subtle, almost imperceptible modifications. In 1961, the Westminster halo tiara was worn by Carol Channing at the Hearts and Diamonds Ball at the Plaza Hotel in New York. The turquoise version of the halo tiara was seen on Rose Movius Palmer at the Opera in the 1960s. In 1973, Alice Cooper wore the modified halo tiara as a necklace for a portrait with Salvador Dali. The halo tiara was sold again at a Sotheby's auction in October 1988 and later belonged to E.C. Fishzong Inc., often being displayed. When the Westminster halo tiara was showcased at Sotheby's, it was listed as the property of a British noblewoman. In its current form, the tiara has been altered and now features clusters of round, baguette, marquise, cushion, and pear-shaped diamonds instead of the original historic stones. Which piece of jewelry did you find most captivating? Share your thoughts in the comments.